Okay, I'm just going to show you another macro here that's going to be used quite a bit. What it does is it'll take any sheet, any worksheet, and it will kind of transpose all of this data and create or insert a new worksheet with all that data in the format that you want to use when you export this data into a file from the Excel spreadsheet to be later imported into our Gurgle database. Okay, so all you do to use this routine that I wrote is you can be on any sheet. You're just going to go up here to the View menu. You're going to click Macros, and you're going to go down and you're going to select the Analyze Listing routine, and we can look at it real quick. Edit. Here's the routine. It's going to ask you, would you like to generate an export sheet, and it's going to make some suggestions as to what type of report you want to generate. For example, if you want to export all of the wineries out of this Excel spreadsheet to be able to import that data into the Gurgle database, this is the routine for you. But it handles all the different sheets. You could choose any type of report you want to generate. Allows you to pick a name for the new worksheet that's created. It also asks you kind of a critical question is it's going to ask you if you want to only show the unique values, and we're going to say no because we want to pull all the data out. Okay, so just wanted to show you that real quick. Now if you want to run this, you just go up to Macros, click Macros, select Analyze Listing, click Run button. Would you like to generate an export sheet for Appalachians, because that's the sheet we're currently on? We could say no, and then it's going to allow us to type in the type of sheet we want to generate. It's going to be one of these options: Appalachians, wines, vineyards, etc. So let's go ahead and try wineries. So we're going to type in wineries, and then we're going to click OK. It tells us the current workbook, and it's called Just for Demo. You can see up here on the top. So we're going to say OK. This is just to make sure that everything's working, kind of debug information. The old sheet that the data is being pulled from is called wineries. So we're pulling it from actually this sheet down here in the bottom tab. You can see the wineries California sheet. That's where the data is going to be pulled from. And this is the new sheet that we're generating. It's going to be called New Wineries Export. It's going to be added on after countries over here. Okay? Export listing only. This is the thing I was referring to. Whether you only want the unique values of data, but we want all the data, so we're going to say no. No actually gives you a complete listing with all the data exported. No. It creates the headers up at the top, the way that we want that formatted to be able to import it correctly into our database. And then it's pulling the data out of the wineries sheet, and it's adding it to the new worksheet that is called New Wineries Export, like I said. And it also gives you the totals, which is kind of nice at the bottom. It gives you the number of wineries that were generated, 3,406 currently. So it gives you all the totals at the bottom. You can scroll up and see all the information's been moved into this new worksheet. Okay, then what we want to do is we want to save all this data, which is our wineries listing. We want to save all this data to a comma delimited file. Okay, that's going to be very easy for us to import that data into our Gurgle database. So we're going to go to the File menu, we're going to select Save As, and then this is important here. we want to go to the correct place. So I'm going to check my C drive. I'm going to go to my Google folder. And I'm going to go to database. And I created an export here. So this is an area where I can just export data. Now I'm going to pick the file format that I want the export to be in, that the database likes. Remember, we're running a MySQL database on the server, so comma delimited is a good format to use for that. Okay, so there's the comma delimited file. We can just leave it as just for demo, file name, and then we click save. It gives us a couple warnings here. It says the file type may not support the workbooks with all these sheets, but that's okay because we just want to save the current sheet. We just want to save the wineries. So you're going to have to save one at a time, but that's fine. May contain features that aren't compatible with comma delimited files. That's okay. Because we have set delimiters, which is the up arrow. So we're going to say yes. I'm going to show you how that works after we save this file. Okay, so now we're going to go get it. We're going to take a look and make sure that it created that file for us. So here's my Gurgle folder, here's my database folder, here's my exports folder, and there's our just for demo that we just created. So let's take a look at that. We're going to edit it. Okay, now you see that we have the indexes, we have the IDs, those are the indexes, the numbers in the left column, and then we have the winery name, okay, and then we have the street addresses, city, state, all the information about the wineries. Now you notice all the fields are separated with this up arrow. That's a funny character for a reason. I chose the up arrow because you'll probably never most likely find that in a group of data like these wineries. So because we'll never find it, it's going to be a unique identifier to be able to use to separate these fields from one another. For instance, the street 1 name has to be separated from the street 2 name, and city and state and so on. So everything's separated, and already we got our header up here that identifies what the columns are in the data. And this is all ready to be able to import into our MySQL Gurgle database. Now I want to show you one other thing which you have to set in order to have it use that up arrow character for all your exports. And in order to do that, you have to go to the Start button, Control Panel. Okay, go into the Control Panel, and then we want to look at the language things, languages and regions. Okay, and I think I changed this in the Change Display Language. If we click that option, and then Formats, I believe it's Additional Settings. Yeah. So see, under Formats, and you click Additional Settings button, you can go ahead and pick the default characters that you want to use when you export data. Typically this is a comma, but we don't want to use a comma in our data because a comma appears all the time. A lot of wineries use commas even in their wine name to separate Cabernet Sauvignon from, the vineyard name, for example, and they both could appear in the name of the wine, but commas are used to separate those things out. So we can't use commas to separate our data fields. So I picked this as a good character. This is used in HL7 formats in a lot of different industries, like hospitals and medical industries. So this is a good character to use. So I'm just going to click cancel, but in order to use that character in your data export, you're going to have to make that change to your operating system. This is Windows 7. Yours might be a little different depending on if you have a Mac or whatever it is, but at least you know what you have to look for to make that change.